Imagine a world where humans no longer need two parents to create life. A place where the biological lottery is a thing of the past, and reproduction becomes a solitary act. A choice made by one individual. How would this change everything we know about family, about relationships, about society itself? Think about it. The very concept of parenting would be redefined. Social structures, legal systems, even our understanding of love and connection would be turned on their head. Would this lead to a more independent, self-sufficient humanity? Or would we lose something vital in the process? Some essential piece of the human experience that comes from creating life together. This isn't just science fiction. It's a question knocking on our door. As technology marches forward, these are the conversations we need to have. Have you ever wondered what the world would be like if humans could reproduce It sounds like something straight out of a science fiction movie. But in the animal and plant kingdoms, it's actually pretty common. From simple cell division to budding and even cloning. Nature has found some incredible ways to create new life without a partner. Imagine for a second that humans developed one of these abilities. Let's start with budding. Like a hydra, a small part of your body could just start growing into a complete new individual. Genetically identical to you. It would be your clone, your twin, and your child all at once. Or what about cell division? Like an amoeba. You could literally split into two separate, fully formed people. That would certainly make multitasking easier. Then there's cloning, a more complex process. Think of a whiptail lizard, where females can produce offspring from unfertilized eggs. If human women could do this, it would mean a world without biological fathers. Society would be completely transformed. Family structures, relationships, even our understanding of identity would be turned on its head. But what would this mean for us as a species? On one hand, reproduction would be guaranteed. There would be no need to find a partner, which could solve a lot of problems for some people. It would be incredibly efficient. But there's a huge downside. A lack of genetic diversity. Sexual reproduction is amazing because it shuffles the genetic deck with every generation. This mixing of DNA creates new combinations, which helps our species adapt to changing environments, fight off new diseases, and evolve over time. If we all became clones of one another, we'd be incredibly vulnerable. A single new virus or a sudden environmental shift could potentially wipe out our entire population because we all have the same genetic weaknesses. So while the idea of asexual reproduction is fascinating to think about, our current method, with all its complexities and challenges, is what has made humanity so resilient and diverse. Have you ever wondered what the world would be like if humans reproduced like some plants or simple animals? I'm talking about budding. Imagine, instead of the way we do things now, a tiny new you started growing right off your arm or your back. Weird, right? But let's explore this idea for a minute. This mini-me would start as a small bump, then gradually grow larger, developing its own head, arms, and legs, all while still attached to you. It would be like carrying around a developing clone of yourself. This new person would share your exact genetic makeup, making them essentially your identical twin, just born a bit later. Think of the implications. There would be no genetic lottery, no mixing of DNA. Every child would be a perfect copy of their parent. So, what would a society like this look like? The very concept of family would be completely different. There would be no mother or father in the traditional sense. Just a single progenitor. This would create lineages of identical individuals stretching back through Have you ever wondered what would happen if humans could reproduce asexually? Just like some plants and animals? What if we could simply create a clone of ourselves? It sounds like something out of a science fiction movie, but let's explore this idea for a moment. What would our world actually look like? First off, the very concept of marriage might just fade away. Think about it. Historically, marriage has been tied to creating families and raising children together. But if you could have a child on your own, a perfect genetic copy of yourself, the traditional reasons for getting married would lose much of their power. The grand weddings, the rings, the vows, all of it could become relics of a bygone era. Romance itself would face an existential crisis. The biological drive to find a mate, that intense feeling of falling in love that has inspired poets and artists for centuries, would lose its primary evolutionary purpose. Attraction might still exist, but it would be more for companionship or a personal connection, rather than the fundamental need to pass on your genes. Our social fabric would be completely The nuclear family, with two parents and their children, would be replaced by something entirely new. Single-parent lineages. Imagine a family tree that doesn't branch out, but extends in a straight line. Each individual would be the sole parent to their own offspring, who is also their identical twin. Grandparents would be looking at a younger version of themselves, and the whole idea of relatives like aunts, uncles, and cousins would dissolve. Society would become a collection of these individual family lines, each one a dynasty of one. This would have massive implications for our genetics. With everyone creating identical copies, genetic diversity would plummet. Our species would become incredibly vulnerable. A single new disease, a virus that we have no defense against, could potentially wipe out huge portions of the population because we'd all share the same genetic weaknesses. Evolution as we know it, driven by the mixing of genes, would grind to a halt. We'd be in a state of genetic stagnation. While it might solve problems related to finding a partner, it could create a much bigger, more catastrophic one for the survival of humanity. It's a fascinating and slightly terrifying thought experiment, isn't it? What if we lost the very engine of that diversity? I'm talking about a world without sexual reproduction. It sounds like science fiction, right? But stick with me, because the implications are staggering. Right now, every time a new person is born, it's like shuffling a deck of cards. You get a unique hand of genes from both parents. This creates endless variety. Some of us are tall, some are short. Some have amazing immune systems that fight off certain viruses, while others might be more susceptible. This genetic diversity is our species' ultimate survival tool. It's our shield against plagues and our engine for adaptation. But in a world without this genetic shuffle, our DNA would become stagnant. Imagine making a copy of a copy, over and over. Each time, the quality degrades. Flaws and errors would accumulate in our genetic code, with no way to filter them out. Our collective gene pool would shrink, turning from a vibrant rainbow into a dull, uniform gray. So, what would that world actually look like? Well, for starters, we'd become incredibly vulnerable. A single new virus, one that our uniform immune systems can't handle, could sweep through the population like wildfire. Think of it like a monoculture crop. A single blight can wipe out the entire field. Without the genetic variety that allows some individuals to naturally resist a disease, humanity would be a sitting duck. And it's not just about disease. Evolution itself would grind to a halt. The slow, steady process of adaptation that has allowed us to thrive in different environments. From the Arctic tundra to the scorching desert, Wulued Bear would be frozen in time, unable to change in a changing world. You might picture some dystopian future where governments control reproduction in sterile labs, trying to artificially manage a decaying gene pool. But the reality is, the slow decline in diversity would be an invisible crisis, a silent countdown to extinction. The rich tapestry of humanity is woven from the threads of our differences. It's the very thing that makes us resilient, adaptable, and ultimately, human. The random, beautiful chance of sexual reproduction isn't just a biological process. It's the author of our species' story, and without it, we might just be writing our final chapter. Have you ever wondered what the world would be like if we could just copy ourselves? Not in a metaphorical sense, but literally. Imagine a future where having children doesn't involve the lottery of genetics anymore. Instead, each person becomes the founder of their own genetic line of copies. A world where you are, quite literally, your own ancestor. This isn't just about creating a twin. It's about a fundamental shift in what it means to be a family. Parenting would transform from raising a genetically unique child, a blend of two people, into managing versions of yourself. Think about it. Your child would essentially be you, starting over. They would have your talents, your predispositions, maybe even your same quirks and flaws. What would schools look like? Hallways and playgrounds filled with clusters of nearly identical children, each group tracing back to a single original person. Sibling rivalry might take on a whole new meaning when your brother or sister is your perfect genetic match, just a few years younger. Would you feel a deeper connection, knowing they are a mirror of your own potential? Or would it create an unbearable pressure to live up to, or break free from, the original's path? The emotional side of this is staggering. Picture a parent looking at their child, not just seeing a reflection of their features, but seeing their own past self staring back. It could be a chance to correct past mistakes, to guide your younger self with the wisdom of hindsight. But could you ever truly see them as their own person? Would you be raising a child, or trying to perfect a new version of your own life? This technology could offer a strange kind of immortality, a way to see your genetic legacy continue, unchanged, for generations. But what do we lose? The beautiful unpredictability of life. The joy of discovering a child's unique personality, separate from your own. The very idea of a family as a tapestry woven from different threads would disappear, replaced by a series of identical prints. It's a fascinating and slightly terrifying thought experiment. What kind of society would we build when everyone is a copy of someone who came before? Would it lead to a world of specialists, perfected over generations, or a world stagnant, devoid of the new ideas that genetic diversity brings? The future of humanity might be less about evolution and more about revision. What would happen to the industries we've built around love, attraction, and self-improvement? Let's explore. The first of all would be the wedding industry. Those grand venues, the elaborate dresses, the rings, all relics of a bygone era. Why spend a fortune celebrating a connection when your perfect match is guaranteed? Dating apps would become obsolete overnight. The endless swiping, the awkward first dates, the ghosting, all gone. The pressure to find a partner would simply evaporate. Next, the beauty and fitness industries would face a seismic shift. The relentless pursuit of physical perfection, driven by the desire to attract a mate, would lose its primary motivation. Gym memberships would plummet. The multi-billion-dollar cosmetics and skincare markets would shrink dramatically. Why contour or chase the latest fashion trend when your ideal partner is destined to love you exactly as you are? Scientifically proven. The very concept of beauty standards would start to crumble. But as these old giants fall, new titans would rise from their ashes. The most powerful new industry, cloning and synthetic human creation. Giant, sterile facilities would hum with activity. Bioengineering perfect partners based on deep psychological and genetic compatibility profiling. These wouldn't just be copies. They'd be custom-designed companions, engineered for harmony. Alongside this, the genetic upgrade market would explode. This isn't about looking better, but about enhancing core compatibility traits. Want to be more empathetic, a better listener, or share a specific intellectual passion with your future partner? There's a genetic tweak for that. Personalized gene editing clinics would become the new high-end spas. Finally, with the creation of synthetic partners comes the need for regulation and control. A massive new industry of identity and relationship management would emerge. Think of it as a blend of digital security and lifelong couples counseling. These firms would manage the digital and legal identities of synthetic humans, oversee compatibility updates, and mediate any unforeseen glitches in the programming. The world wouldn't be without love. It would just be a prepackaged, perfectly optimized, and commercially managed product. A strange new world indeed. Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered, who am I, really? Now imagine that reflection stepped out and became a real, living person. Your clone. Suddenly, the questions get a lot heavier. What does it mean to be unique when someone else shares your exact face, your voice, your DNA? Are you still you, or are you now just one of two? It's a journey into the deepest parts of what makes us who we are. Is it our memories, our choices, or something more? When you can't tell where you end and they begin, the search for your true self becomes the ultimate mystery. It sounds incredibly independent, right? No need for a partner, just pure But let's think about the flip side. Asexual reproduction means creating genetic copies of ourselves. Our children would be our clones. At first, it might seem efficient, a way to pass on our strongest traits, but over generations, humanity would lose its beautiful diversity. Everyone would start to look, think, and act more and more alike. This sameness is a huge risk. Without genetic variety, a single new disease could potentially wipe out our entire species. We'd be a world of perfect copies, vulnerable and fragile. So, would this futuristic independence lead to our ultimate survival, or would we just slowly fade into a sea of uniformity? What do you think? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more what-ifs.